Let's talk to conservative non-believer here in the USA who I think is a little bit skeptical about some of the things that we're talking about. Is that fair to say, conservative non-believer?
Absolutely fair. Thank you, Christy. Hi, Emily. The reason why I called was early on before the show broadcast, you guys put up purity culture as if it was a negative thing. And I don't know why it's negative. And if especially Emily, can you explain to me what's negative about purity culture?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a leash here, sir, while pointing out that if you've caught the last hour of the show, we've highlighted a number of the problems. A caller just a moment ago discussed how her sexual experience was in many ways devastated by a lot of the beliefs that we are lumping together under that title of purity culture. So help me understand where the confusion might be here.
Thank you, Christy. And I just want to say I've watched for a while, Emily. I think you're a new co-host and very good stuff tonight. I'd like to talk more about some of the things you talked about. But isn't it true that people that abstain from sex are less likely to catch hepatitis, AIDS, and especially in a culture today where we're worried about viruses such as COVID? Shouldn't there be more of awareness to people having sex that venereal diseases are a threat? They follow
venereal diseases are a threat.
Absolutely.
I would also say that people who don't eat are much less likely to get food poisoning. I don't necessarily know that that means that abstaining from food is a good idea. Sexuality is an inherent part of our humanity. So this feels like a talking point in search of a point. I'm really struggling with where you're going here.
No, I think I do have a point. I think that because sexuality in today's cultural acceptance is open, but there is nothing wrong with somebody abstaining from sex, no matter what.
Agreed.
Right.
Now, I'm not a believer, just so you know, but it seems like this show is promoting having sex even if you don't want to.
If you can find me in the thousands of hours that we have published online, a single instance of me encouraging people to have sex that they don't want to have, you and I can have a very different conversation. Until that moment, I will encourage you to keep watching and to recognize that people's sexual choices are valid. And that's what this show is here to promote, the notion that we have choices, that we have bodies that are in search of pleasure, and that there are healthy and responsible ways to facilitate that, to facilitate the love and the romance and the connection that can often come with our sexuality, and to mitigate the risk presented by things like STDs and some of these other ideas. Now, before we move on for tonight, is there anything else that I might be able to clear up for you?
No, I just want to say, Christy, I agree with everything you just said, but I don't believe that you've addressed my question. And
one more time, that question very succinctly is what?
Is there something wrong with purity culture?
Yes.
Yes.
There are so many things wrong with purity culture. We've got hours of tape on the idea, and I would definitely encourage you to perhaps give it another look. I do appreciate you presenting these ideas, and I really appreciate you watching and agreeing with me so ardently while perhaps struggling to wrap your mind around some of the things that we're talking about. Please take a look back at this episode again and see if it perhaps offers a little more insight. We're going to move on for the night, but please take care. All right. Well, to be clear, I have not dropped the call, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now.